Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin, the bear market blues. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. A few months ago, we said, let's just call it what it is, right? Let's just call it a bear market. And now, I think that now that some time has passed, I think a little bit, I think more people are coming on board with the idea that Bitcoin is bearish, okay? Bitcoin is bearish. Of course, the perma bulls that will only ever tell you the price will go up they're going to give you the inspirational quotes to keep you interested and all that garbage, right? The truth of the matter is that Bitcoin's down over 50% from the prior all-time high, and things are bearish. But we will come out the other side, in my opinion. But I'm not going to feed you some inspirational quote or some fundamental reason why the prices should be higher. As we said before, we were ahead of schedule in the market cycle. We were very much ahead of schedule, and a cool down period, an intermediate bear market within the market cycle was needed and was healthy, okay? A lot of people assumed we were going to keep pace with the prior cycle, and I told you guys, hey guys, I know a lot of people want us to keep pace with the prior cycle, but the idea that we actually do keep pace with the prior cycle and go to these crazy valuations that some people are predicting of like $300,000 by the end of the year, it's very unlikely to happen, okay? And again, those statements that I made obviously got a lot of criticism from the people that wanted to assume that we were just going to follow this cycle exactly how we followed the last one. But here we are, and you can see that, in fact, just as the data predicted, not me, just as the data predicted, we were, in fact, ahead of schedule. I said that just because we're ahead of cycle 2 does not mean we have to stay ahead of cycle 3. I mean, at some point we were ahead of cycle 2. We did not keep pace with it. Now we're ahead of cycle 3. We're probably not going to keep pace with it. Here we are. Here we are, guys. So the point is to say sometimes you're better off calling things what they are, recognizing them for what they are, recognizing the opportunity that they present, not just feeding you guys some inspirational quote to make you feel good about yourself, but to say, yeah, the price of Bitcoin's down over 50%. We are in a downtrend, right? We're in a downtrend so far. Even if you exclude, even if we want to try to be as pessimistic or as optimistic as possible, even if we exclude, say this initial drop, and then just look at the last several weeks, you could argue that this is in fact a downtrend, okay? Even if you exclude the initial drop. Now, when you look at this, the only caveat is you could say, well, technically it's sideways, because the price that we're at today, we also tested a few weeks ago and before that, and we were here as well over here and here and here. The main difference is that as we continue on, we're spending more and more time at these prices. Initially, these were just wicks. Then we had a couple candles, and we had more candles, and now you can see we're back at these levels. So let's just call things what they are, right? I think calling things what they are is a lot more useful than just pretending and saying, hey guys, everything's still about to go back up. We're about to have a V-shaped recovery or some stuff like that, which again we're not going to have. Now, if you look at the relative strength index, which I think is an interesting metric, at least to sort of give one gauge on the market, one idea is to maybe use this as a metric for maybe getting out of our downtrend, okay? Because right now, as we've showed before, right, we're still trending down with our relative strength index. So every move to the upside is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Okay, every single one. They're all just getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And so eventually this trend will break, and then maybe that will be the time that we can consolidate for a while at whatever price that is, and then we can go back up. One misconception is when I say that we need at least a 3 to 6 month bear market before we can continue our journey, some people assume that means we're going to have an all-time high at the end of that downtrend. That's not true. The bear market, when I say the bear market, I mean a downtrend, okay? I mean a downtrend where the price of Bitcoin is generally trending lower, not just going sideways, right? I would call a sideways, generally moving sideways, I would call that like an accumulation phase. I would say this is an accumulation phase. where we're just going sideways, right? We're not going up, we're not going down, we're more or less trending sideways. So when I say at least a 3 to 6 month bear market, I don't mean that at the end of that downtrend we're going to magically be at new all-time highs. On the contrary, we're going to have to spend a decent amount of time building our way back up. Okay, so let's assume the best case scenario would be this is the bottom, and even if we do start trending back up like this, which I sincerely doubt it, it's going to take a while, right? It's not like we're just going to immediately go back to a new all-time high. Even if this is the bottom, it would probably take us several months to put in a new all-time high. So whenever we do find the bottom, assume some sideways movement for a while, assume a slow move back up, and then after that, hopefully we can continue our journey, which once we decisively take down $64,000. Until then, we're still basically we're just digging deep, right? We're digging deep. We're trying to navigate the bear market. Remember, a lot of people at local tops like to exclaim that the people that got in early are so lucky. But if you guys remember, when we were over here, it's a lot easier to stand over here on the pedestal and exclaim that these guys were lucky. It's a lot harder to be the guys buying over here, right? It's a lot harder to be the guys buying and then watching it continue to go down, because you could have been over here thinking that this was a great time to buy, and then you're like, oh great, it was great that the price is going up, and then the next day it just crashes again, and then you just keep going up. So then every time it does this, you become really skeptical when it comes back up to these levels. Oh, you think it's just going to go back down, but then at some point it fakes you out and it goes back up. And that is sort of where we are right now. Okay, my opinion right now is that there's a lot of people, that want to take profits. So anytime we get some of these uptrends, these people just cash out. Eventually, we're going to exhaust these sellers. Eventually, we'll exhaust these sellers, and then we can actually break out of our downtrend and then start trending higher. But again, we need time. We need lots of it. I would not assume that those lofty price predictions that you've seen by other models are going to pan out by the end of the year. If they do, then, so be it, right? I'm fine being wrong and rich. But what I would say is that if you want to win at these markets, being more conservative tends to work out better, because if you operate in a deterministic manner and say that it has to go to these crazy valuations by the end of the year, and then it doesn't, then this could lead to maybe a capitulation event that actually kicks off the next leg. Once the people that sort of were promised, several $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year, once that doesn't come true, that could lead to maybe a capitulation event where it shakes some people out who don't actually, are not actually on board for the long haul. They're just on board to reach some nebulous model price prediction. Once that doesn't pan out, maybe they sell. Maybe that's the final capitulation we need before we can ultimately continue our journey. And then it'll be interesting if that happens, because then they look at it and say, wait a second, I thought the end of 2021 was supposed to be the market cycle top. Why is it starting to go up after that? I think that'd be interesting. But again, we have a long way to go to potentially get there. Might be getting ahead of myself. So let's just continue to navigate the cycle one day at a time. Right now we're in a downtrend. Right now we're below the 20-week SMA. Right now the market is bearish. Anyone who says otherwise, anyone who says that this is not bearish, okay, they're basically just, it's just hopium at this point. It's just hopium that this looks bullish, okay? And so remember that despite the fact that we're coming down, it will represent an opportunity for the next leg up in the market cycle. It will represent an opportunity. I'm just more of a fan of calling things what they are, rather than just trying to rationalize why 55% down and in a downtrend is still super bullish. And you can see how the market has changed. There's not nearly as many inflows to the market. Altcoins are basically getting destroyed with respect to their Bitcoin valuations. This is the phase where Bitcoin can really wreck some altcoins. Okay, so Bitcoin is what we're going to mainly be watching. Bitcoin, whenever it does come out of this downtrend, will hopefully then go sideways. I mean, it doesn't have to be sideways at 30K. It could be sideways at 20K, at 25K. It could be sideways at 35. This could be our sideways movement right now. But we need time, and we need lots of it, okay? So let's continue the journey, and, you know, whenever we do come out of the bear market, great, we'll gear up for the next leg. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember, we have the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. If you want to know how to navigate these markets, thank you for tuning in. Click the bell icon to turn on notifications, and I will see you next time. Bye.